Welcome to Ask Sid, the official podcast for Sydenham Clinic, a clinic where luxury meets medicine. We are on a quest for longevity. And I am so thrilled to be your host on this show. My name is Anchal Bhatia. I am the founder and CEO of Sydenham Clinic and the author of Your Doctor Is Not God and How to Be the CEO of Your Health. I look forward to taking this journey with all of you and having amazing thought leaders, guests, and members of our Sydenham team answering questions that you put forward. And I urge you, and I hope you will, ask Sid more questions on longevity, wellness, living to your highest potential. We are all trying to be the best versions of ourselves. And our physical, emotional, and mental health is foundational for us to achieve health and success in other realms of our life. So welcome to Ask Sid. Welcome back to Ask Sid. And today I am ecstatic to have a very special guest with us and to dive deep into a topic that's actually very close to my own heart because I was studying neonatal psychology and I was doing my PhD when I decided to become an entrepreneur. So today we're actually going to touch upon what it means to be pregnant in this era of precision medicine, where really we are going through a longevity revolution. Back in the day, you got pregnant at age 13 and nature wanted you dead by 30 so that there was enough food to feed your grandkids. 100 years ago, people died at the age of 56. Today, we die at the age of 78 or 80, right? So as a result, we're also getting pregnant a little later. We're having babies a little later. So we're going to talk more about what we need to do to support motherhood, pregnancy, and birthing. And our special guest is Gabriela Gerhart. Welcome, Gabby. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and we're neighbors. For those of you who know Houston, Gabby has this fabulous Motherhood Center, which is like a haven for pregnant mothers. From what used to be called Lamaze classes in my time, you call them parenting classes, to doulas, and it's just fun stuff. You even have a store there for shopping, and you have different sort of training for new moms to be. Mm-hmm. It is exciting that you're doing this, and you're doing this so differently in each decade, right? Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Gabby. I will first have you a little bit, introduce yourself, because I won't do justice, because you have a whole book on your life and your life journey. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'd love to know how you got into this. And I know you were a pediatric nurse and you worked in a pediatric ER. And that's how this whole love for children started for you.
Well, thank you for having me. And there's definitely so much to talk about.
Absolutely.
Right. And so there are some stories in my book, and it's really kind of my memoir. It's my journey from growing up in communism, coming to America, and embarking on the entrepreneurial journey, and so kind of the freedom. But the book kind of captures my story, my passions, and but really kind of when you said my kind of a first time I realized I wanted to do either work with pregnant women or be pregnant or just that whole pregnancy journey, it was when my sister was born. And so I was 4 years old, and so I was just fascinated, having this, so I became kind of this little mommy. And so pretty soon after that, my sister and I, when we were role playing,
How old were you when?
So I was 4 years old when my sister was born. And so, in kind of as we were kind of getting, older, and we were kind of doing a little role playing, I would be always the pregnant one. Mm-hmm. So I would stuff my belly, with pillow, and I would be walking around and just kind of like wobbling and pretending I'm pregnant, and I would have this scarf on my face, and I would just kind of like, be pregnant.
So sweet.
And so of course with all of that, that was kind of I didn't really realize that that's going to be my passion for, pretty much kind of rest of my life probably. But it was really kind of the nurturing, the caring kind of a personality, which, that was kind of what becoming a nurse, was. And so when it was time, when I grew up in communist country, and so at that time you had to decide at age 14, 15, what do you want it to be? And so I wanted to be everything from teacher, I wanted to be in army, I wanted to be a policewoman and all these things, and my parents like, no. And of course, my kind of the deep in my heart was the pediatric nursing. And so I went off to school, became a pediatric nurse. I got also my physical therapy degree. And I was just kind of trying to figure out, I grew up in small town in the kind of the village atmosphere. And I was trying to figure out, okay, so I'm going to get a job and it's going to be probably for the rest of my life, because that's kind of that's how it is, right, in the small town. And so I told my parents, I wanted to go to America for 1 year to learn English. And during that time, once our borders opened up, that's kind of where, we had kind of exposure to au pair programs. And so that was kind of a new thing. And of course, with my pediatric nurse background, I was the hot commodity because every au pair family would want to have a pediatric nurse to take care of their children. And so with that, I came to America, met my husband actually pretty soon after I got here. And again, there's more story about all of that in my book, kind of how we met. But that's kind of where I learned or realized that there's a need for really more kind of the village atmosphere community. In Houston, Houston is such a transient city, right? And so we have clients literally from all over the world, and majority of them don't have family here. Mm-hmm. And so as they are embarking on their pregnancy journey,
right,
they don't have the support.
Well, thank you for starting it. And although you started it almost 24 years ago, I don't think there's any other center that comes close, and there's still a gap. So, you were really ahead of your times back then, but you identified a need that I think it's more prevalent today with, like you said, you don't have family here. There's a whole sense of community, and especially when you're birthing a baby, we all know about the mental health aspects of becoming a new mother, of just the whole life-changing moments that you have that you only want to share with other people who've been through the same story as you. So I know you didn't, like, when you opened it, it was not, I'm sure mental health was not at the forefront, right? But now you see that it's become like one of the most important aspects.
Sure. No, when I started the Motherhood Center, it was really pregnancy is now more kind of like a trendy thing, right? Or it's kind of we are learning about doulas, and people are much more exposed to a lot of information. When I started the Motherhood Center, over 20 years ago, Google was in kind of the infancy, and there was that one book, what to expect when you're expecting. And the other only resource would be your doctor, right?
Or your mom.
Yeah.
And grandma.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. And so fast forward, when I was creating the curriculums for the classes back then, and to your point, the Motherhood Center, it really is a only concept like that in the world.
In the world?
There's still not kind of what we do and all the different services we offer. It's really still the only one in the world. And so with that, we have clients from all over the country, kind of like, okay, where's the Motherhood Center here? Yeah. But it is kind of, that's what I learned, or what I've seen, is that clients were kind of hungry for information because they wanted more information. A lot of our clients are, executives, they are professionals, and they are used to kind of gather information, where now during pregnancy, they were like, okay, I want to know more. And if they don't have kind of the support village around them, yes, kind of where do you find that information? And so creating the Motherhood Center and creating the classes and creating all the curriculums, it really is kind of the goal was to have one place, and clients refer to as a Simami Country Club. So have one place under one roof where you have all the educational classes, the massages, the yoga, the breastfeeding support, the baby doulas, the nannies, the babysitting services, all under one roof.
Fabulous. So very similar. I think our ideologies and philosophies here at Sydenham and yours at the Motherhood Center are very aligned. We're also trying to create a community because, as you know, we are based on the Blue Zone principles, and a strong sense of community is a factor for longevity. And we do have women come to us, and like you deal with executives or high performing women who really want to live life on their own terms. They want to optimize their bodies before they get pregnant. They want to plan every aspect of it. They want to be able to choose the kind of birth they want to have. They want to be able to be empowered, to be a mother, the way and curate their whole motherhood experience, right? So Gabby, I want to really know, in your 2.5 decades, what are the changes you've seen? You've seen there's a whole mindset change. Now there's so much precision medicine out there. There's a lot of knowledge that people have. Like you said, there was no Google when you started. But what are the big changes and big shifts that you see?
So I think just the access to information. There is just so much information that clients are much more overwhelmed. People can be, there's the mommy shaming and all of that, which, before that it was not really so prevalent, I would say. So I think the access to the information, what I'm seeing, or I kind of feel that so many clients, the Dr. Google, right? Yes. And so we do see more clients are actually actively planning to get pregnant. Or they are delaying their motherhood, and so even on our a search engine, different optimizations we do on our website, and kind of when we are tracking, so more and more clients are learning about us before they are expecting, because they wanted to plan.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It's part of their plan. It's not just oh, we are pregnant and let's figure it out. They already have all of their research done. So we have clients, literally they are 6 weeks pregnant and they are coming to us, and a lot of it is of course IVF and
Yes.
all of that, but it's so they are but with that too, they have so much information at their fingertip, literally.
Yes.
That they are overwhelmed.
It is. And talking about IVF, we've seen more and more people are dealing with infertility issues, and a lot of it is to do with stressful lives. It's to do with the toxic overload. So I know at Sydenham we work very hard to detoxify and neutralize the body, get you really ready to get healthy for your pregnancy. But what's also really nice is, in your Motherhood Center, you also have a little aspect for the father, right? Because fathers go through, psychologically, I know they go through a lot, and men are less educated very often, and they don't know how to help. And like you said, they don't have family, they don't have an infrastructure. A lot of the burden comes on the father. So share a little bit of light on that.
So yeah, so we have, we call it the sympathy belly also. So it's actually like a pregnancy suit the dads can wear. And so that's something what they are kind of really getting very attuned with the pregnancy, and usually after 10 minutes they are sweating.
I'm sure they have a natural beer belly to support that.
No, it has, it's a kind of high tech, as much as high tech can be, but it's really, they have just all these sensations, of being pregnant, probably like a 6-month pregnancy. And so we have them to do different exercises, tying their shoes and pick up toys off the floor, so they can kind of sympathize a little bit more with those expecting ladies. But we have something what I've seen, and really kind of from the beginning of the Motherhood Center, our dads are very involved. They wanted to be part of it. It's not kind of the today's dad is not like the dad 50 years ago. Yeah. They are very engaged. They are actually the ones which are booking the appointments for massages. They are calling to schedule the classes. They are really very engaged, and so with that we tell clients, even in our breastfeeding classes, we have 80-90% of the dads are in the breastfeeding class as well, because there's just so much to learn. So kind of the overall engagement of dads, we definitely see that, and it's great to see. And of course in the postpartum period, the dads are much more engaged and involved, and you kind of mentioned the mental health side. You know, we talk about so much, right, about postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, but we don't talk so much about the male side of the postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety. So the dads are sympathizing, but also their life is completely different, right?
Yeah.
I tell clients,
I mean, they lose, you know, the husband-wife partnership, like it is intimate, right? You're the man in her life. And now the baby comes and you become second fiddle. It's very hard for men to suddenly be dropped from that pedestal.
Yeah. Well, I tell clients, I do maternity consultations, and that's what I tell them. You know, already now, plan date nights. You know, kind of continue cultivating that relationship, because it really is like the maternal instinct, the paternal instinct that do kind of take over, which is normal and natural, but really preserving that relationship is going to be critical. And I think, I don't know the number now, but it's the percentage of divorces within the first year or two of child's life are just really high, just because it is, I mean, the sleep deprivation, I mean, everything changes.
I mean, they say a couple goes, I mean, they fight the most when they're trying to build a house together or they have a baby together. So those are like two very stressful milestones that you should survive in your marriage if you want to stay married long. But I really want to talk about what you guys do is very unique, right? You give doulas, labor doulas or labor nannies. I don't know what the technical term is, but you actually have people go into the birthing room and help you birth the baby. Because, I mean, I still remember in my time, I was 21 when I had my first baby. I had no idea what to do in that room. And I wish I had this kind of support the first time when I was having a baby. But what exactly does the labor nurse do? Can you tell us more about the whole journey?
Sure. So one thing what we do kind of a different or unique, also we have a labor rehearsal class. So it's like a 2-hour class, and it's really couple of weeks before the due date, the couple actually goes and rehearses, kind of you know, doing different squatting positions and just really kind of rehearsing, just like a wedding rehearsal. So rehearsing the childbirth, and so for the labor doula, so there is that's kind of the new, not newer, but it's kind of newish for a lot of people, kind of a term. So you have a antepartum doula, you have labor doula, you have postpartum doula, now you have a death doula, there's fertility doula, there's all kinds of doulas. And so the one you are referring to, so it's a labor doula.
Yes.
And so it really is a non-medical professional who actually is kind of like a labor coach. So they don't actually like actively deliver the baby, but they are really kind of a companion for the expecting mom and her partner as well. So just really kind of everything from the medical terminology, kind of helping understand kind of what's happening. And but it's still going to be either the midwife or the doctor delivering the baby. But it really is kind of like a labor coach, birthing coach, kind of getting women in positions which are going to be able to support her labor better, you know, just really being kind of like her advocate.
And then the doula who takes care of the mother and the baby after the delivery, she's a different person. They have a different skill set, because I know you're very robust screening and training process for who you appoint for what part of the job.
Yeah. What we see is the labor doulas, they are passionate about labor. I mean, they can assist kind of the postpartum period, and they are kind of good with that, but it's really, they are like generally passionate about labor. Where the postpartum doulas, they are like, labor, I can help, but it's really, they are passionate about postpartum. They love to be walking into this home, and when you have this, you know, parents which are completely overwhelmed, don't know what to, you know, what the baby's cues are or any of that, and so they basically step in, and so that can be service during the daytime, it can be during the nighttime, it can be just for a few days, few weeks, few months. I kind of joke with clients, we can be there for 18 years if you want us to.
Oh no, thank you.
But it really is, you know, somebody who's helping the parents understand the baby's needs, of course making sure that the mom is resting, making meals for her, because nutrition is very critical, as you guys all know here.
So in Indian culture, you know, we have this 40 days of rest where A few people don't even allow the mom to shower or get up. Like the mom gets massages, the baby gets massages, and it's like, 40 days, you're just not supposed to leave your house. You're just supposed to rest and recuperate. It's very much part of our culture. I want to shift the conversation to, again, like how the modern day mom is today is very different to even my time, like 25 years ago when I became a mom. And I see it at Sydenham, right? Because although we are not the OBGYN, we are your primary care doctor, but we work along with the OBGYN. Our nutritionist works along with you because you have different nutritional requirements, and we're constantly testing, right? We're constantly testing to see what are you deficient in nutritionally. We also, start with your genomics, because I think that's a big part. I think there are about 15 million premature babies every year, and 1 million babies still die because of there's still infant mortality. And they found that a lot of things can be looked at if you just shine the light on epigenetics. Like if your genes are not your destiny. Like you may have a certain gene, but you can keep it turned off. And now it's fascinating because they go in, see the vaginal microbiome, the gut microbiome, right? So there's so much more that we can do with precision medicine and personalized medicine to help even personalize that experience. So I know you guys also focus a lot, and with your background in physiology, on the nutrition and fitness aspects of motherhood.
No, it's critical. Just this, what is today? Yeah, a couple of days ago, we had a client and she was coming for induction massage. And it kind of surprised me a little bit because she was first coming for yoga class, and after that she was going to have an induction massage. And she just did not look like okay, I'm 39 weeks, I'm just so done, And I kind of commented, I'm like, you just kind of surprised me that you are coming for induction because you are still kind of like so lively,
Yes.
And she said, I think it's my nutrition and the regular exercise.
Right.
Because we do see a lot of women, maybe they don't engage in exercise because they never really were kind of the exercise person, and now they're like, oh, during pregnancy you should kind of like take it easy, and it's really not. I mean, the clients which are very active throughout the pregnancy, doing the regular exercise like a yoga, fitness. We have clients which are still running, they are still kind of participating in the various activities. Those are clients which are kind of handling the pregnancy a little better. They have the stamina, they can sleep better, but also the recovery is much faster for them.
Absolutely. I think your overall fitness levels contributes to the kind of pregnancy you'll have, and also I think the health of the baby. Like when I was doing my PhD, my topic was the psychosocial environment and the importance of that even in premature babies, right? So the environment and the mood, what the mother is going through from a mental health aspect, but I feel like even physically, how healthy you are, it's gonna somewhere support the physical health of the baby as well, right?
And we see that all these like even random cravings people can have, it's just really like your body is telling you what you need. So I think it's really great to kind of really know exactly kind of where you are, and that would be important even in pre-pregnancy. It's I had a client, and I was at this conference, or she was not client yet, but she kind of at the conference, and it was pretty intense conference, and she shared with us that she's going to have her eggs frozen on Monday. That was like a Friday. And she's like this high power executive lady, and I said, you are, and she has a lot of stuff going on kind of in her personal life. I'm like, you are not really in like a good state to have your eggs frozen. She and I I'm like, can I like treat you to a massage and yoga? I know that you are not expecting yet, but it's like, you need to prepare yourself. It's such a big,
Yes, like I know back in the day, they used to say if you're planning a baby, the man should stop smoking because the quality of the sperm is better. So similarly, you want to produce good hormones, and hormones is another thing that we really focus a lot on, and there's natural ways to balance your hormones because you're going through a whole hormonal tsunami when you're pregnant, and just to have your team here at Sydenham support you through that hormonal journey we've seen is so important, and just the stress levels that you guys are able to bring down. So coming back to your induction massage, I still remember there's some acupressure points. Like when the time I was pregnant, I think it's 3 fingers above the ankle. If you massage it, you go into labor. Like, tell me more about that. What is it?
So we generally kind of work on the points which we would not work during a regular prenatal massage. So it is kind of a trigger point inducing.
Right.
And so it's everything kind of in the ankle area, in the hip area. We even do like a labor preparation massage. So clients actually sit on the yoga balls, and we kind of work on the pelvis and the muscles, and just a lot of it is just kind of like preparing, almost kind of like getting your body or kind of your mind attuned with your body, just kind of like that, a little bit of a pause.
Right.
And our massage therapist, I talked to her the other day, one of our massage therapists, she said, I always know, like based on the breathing, and it's just like, I know this woman is getting closer, and it's,
wow.
And so again, just kind of for these moms to just come to the Motherhood Center, to be in the environment which is very supportive and nurturing and kind of kind to them, it's that's already kind of setting you on a better path, so you can kind of like almost like leave the stresses behind and just really kind of step into this kind of a environment.
Well, Houston's lucky to have you, thank you so much for this enlightening conversation. I've had so much fun, and I think motherhood is one of the most beautiful and yet the most stressful phases of a woman's life, and you guys are doing a great job to make it stress-free and make it beautiful and easy. So on my podcast, before I end and before I let you go, we always ask our guests, like, what is your personal life sutra or your mantra for your own life? And I'm sure helping all these mothers and the whole journey of starting the Motherhood Center, you must have like developed some personal like life sutras for yourself. What would those be?
So one of the things I like to live in the present moment. I think that's just so important. I share that with our clients too. It's just like really just be here now. So when you and I are having conversation right now, I'm here. I'm in the present moment. I'm not thinking about anything else. And it's not always easy. Right now, of course, we have conversations, so like I have to be present. But it can be so easy just to be distracted and just not be there. And I see that with even sometimes parenting, I mean, those, those gadgets, it's so distracting, and it's, and so children pick up on that.
Right.
I remember that story. I was looking after my granddaughter, and we were playing on the floor, and I was working a little bit, and so I had my cell phone kind of to the side, and I was just kind of like checking my emails. And I think she was like 2 years old at that time, and she walked over and she like closed the phone on my hand.
Oh.
And I was like feeling so almost like embarrassed and ashamed, because this 2-year-old,
they can sense it.
Oh, she totally knew. Like I was there, but I was not quite there, and so that was one of the almost like a defining moments too. What I share with our clients.
So you live your life with that principle.
Yes.
So just a very last question.
Yes.
I'm sure you have a secret sutra or your secret tip that you give to your moms, like what your grandma didn't tell you, kind of a secret. So what is Gabby's secret sutra?
So one of the things would be just like you cannot give if you are not providing to yourself. So taking care of yourself. I know kind of the self-care can be kind of overused a little bit, and what it really means. For somebody it might be like go have a manicure or pedicure. For somebody it's just like being able to sit alone for 5 minutes, without any kind of distraction. So kind of finding things which kind of refill your cup, and it's going to be something different for everybody, but I think it's critical because I mean I'm a giver, caretaker, that's my kind of a natural way. But whenever I'm feeling kind of like I'm at the edge that I'm like exhausting myself, because I'm giving more out than I'm getting, that's really, and it's really my own responsibility. I cannot rely on somebody else to do that for me, so, and kind of to point of the motherhood, I mean, that zaps so much energy out of you, and so I tell always clients is like, make sure that you are taking naps during the pregnancy, because if you don't allow yourself to do that now, once you are having this baby and this toddler, you will not allow yourself to do that. So just really kind of teaching yourself that from the early on.
Well, thank you for that tip. I know very often, especially women, you're right, we're givers and we tend to overextend ourselves, and it can leave us feeling exhausted and then dipping more into the postpartum depression. But thank you, Gabby, for coming, and I hope you all enjoyed this conversation. I know in this modern era of precision medicine, where we are the CEOs of our health, we do take this more seriously. We take it more, proactively. So the more empowered we're getting, the more educated we're getting. I think it's a good thing. I definitely think that it's going to improve the overall longevity and the quality of health of the mother, I think, if she does take care of herself during this period as well. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, remember, health is by choice, not